Good morning, guys. It's Cheyenne here, and I'm going to be talking about one of the huge realizations that I made when I first started reading out loud every morning about 8 months ago. So, the first time I started to read out loud, I went for about maybe half a minute or a minute, and I was totally gassed. I was like tired. I was so just frustrated. I was like, why is it so hard to just read out loud? And then I stopped. I said, all right, dude, don't get mad at yourself. Just let's work through this. Just chill, dude. Just let's use our brains. Okay, so and I'm talking to myself, you have spent 30 plus years trying to avoid every speaking engagement or event possible. You did not like using your voice at all for over 30 years. And now suddenly you made the decision to say, hey, I want to practice. And that is amazing. I'm very proud of you for that. And you're practicing. And your first day of practice, after about half a minute, I was like huffing and puffing and like tired. Like it was almost if I had gone to the gym. I was like, dude, this is brutal. And then I thought of the first time I went skiing. I was like, okay, the first time you went skiing, because I'm from Florida, which is really flat. So there's no mountains here, and I've been here all my life. So like anytime I go to the mountains, I'm like, this is amazing. So I'm like, okay, like I'm going skiing and I'm excited, and I ski the entire day, and it is a lot of fun. If you ever have the chance to go skiing, go skiing. It is a blast. And I ski the entire day, and then I get home to our little hut or whatever, and our cabin's not a hut. And I'm like, dude, there are parts of my body that are sore that have never been sore in my entire life. Like there's like I am from top to bottom, like everything is totally sore. I'm like, okay, skiing was a little bit of a challenge today, but why? Because I saw a ton of people just sliding on the slopes, just so easy for them. Like they did not have a problem. They went like, it was like a piece of cake. And for me, I was like, dude, this is like a full leg workout. And like, I'm about to hit a tree, and it was a challenge, and my entire body was totally sore. I was like, well, the first time you went skiing, you got totally sore and huffed and puffed and was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And then you went the next day and the next day. And by about the fourth or fifth day, I was sliding on the slopes. I wasn't that scared of it anymore. I was like, I'm a little bit sore, but I can just push right past that kind of soreness. It wasn't like the first day was like, dude, I can barely walk. My whole body is wrecked in a good way. Now, when I apply that to my speaking practice, okay, I live in Florida. I like rarely go to the mountains, and I've never skied. So most likely I've never used any of those muscles that are required for those activities. Okay, I finally made the decision to genuinely and honestly practice my speaking skills. Well, you've been trying to avoid speaking for 30 years. You don't like to speak, and you kind of like hide in the corner, and all of a sudden you want to speak like for like 4 hours and be a public speaker. you gotta give yourself a little grace, bro. The first 2 weeks is only trying to strengthen the muscles. That's all you're doing the first 2 weeks. And then you can do a little bit of work on the breath. And then you can say, okay, maybe I can try to conserve a little bit of my oxygen so it lasts longer. But it all starts with gaining the strength in the musculature that is required for speaking. And if I was never able to do that, how can I even expect myself to talk for longer than 2 minutes or, half a minute without getting tired? Because I've never done it before, and I'm expecting myself to just pop out right out of the gates. I'm a perfect speaker. Dude, you don't have the ability, the physical, like you don't have the musculature to sustain speaking for longer than a minute. And then you expect yourself to jump right out of the gates and be a top level speaker. You are setting an unrealistic expectation for myself. So it's like, all right, this is perfectly normal. The same way that the skier is totally sore the first day he ever hits the slope is the same way that I felt the first day I ever tried to practice my speaking. And then I stayed in the game. And then slowly, and I'm still working on it literally every single day. And slowly, not overnight, but over time, the same thing as the gym. It's literally exactly like going to the gym. I have a little more strength in my abdomen. I have a little more strength in my lungs. I have a little more power in my voice box. And just slowly, just like going to the gym, slowly and surely, we make a little progress. But what's the difference between working on your speaking and going to the gym? Well, it's how we approach it. So when I go to the gym and I say, okay, I really want to squat, a lot more weight or stick an extra 25 on there. Like, I want to squat heavy. And I put it on there and, I didn't make it. I missed my PR. Okay. Well, whenever that happens, I'm not like, oh, you suck. You can't lift weights. You're horrible. You're a piece of crap. How can you even try to lift weights, dude? No, none of that goes on in my mind. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I gotta scoot it back down a little bit and then work my way back up. But there is no emotional attachment to, oh my gosh, I was not able to push up the 405 and everyone is staring at me. Oh my God, I hate myself. Oh no, the world is ending because I couldn't push up the 405. Okay. Now, when I go to practice my speaking, you stuttered. Dude, you can't even speak. Dude, just, you just slow down. Just, why can't you do it right? Dude, come on. Man. All right, screw this, man. I'm going to work. It's just pure frustration. So I go to the gym to improve myself, and I'm like, yeah, this is great. I got my headphones on, I'm chilling, a little squat. Oh, I missed the PR. What's that, dude? No big deal. But then I go to practice my speaking, and here comes all these emotions. Oh God, you suck. You're a stutterer. You look funny. You sound funny. You're not worthy of speaking. You don't have anything important to say. Just give up. What are you doing, dude? That's not you. To practice your speaking? No siree. But we're literally doing the same thing. We're just practicing to get a little bit better. But why is there so much garbage that's attached with the practice of speaking? But when I practice anything else, there is no attachment to the outcome for the most part. But when I practice my speaking, there is such an attachment to the outcome that it paralyzes my ability to practice because I'm so frustrated that today has to be the day that I can talk and get a girlfriend and get my job, and if today's not the day, then it will never happen. And that's the feeling that I'm trying to slowly